Hey, thanks so much for downloading the episode on the show today. Daryl wants to know if I'm a witch, plus some opinions about dead dogs and parenting. Also, our Ugly and Awkward Moments of the Week. Thank you so much. Shop lipandclip.com. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
This is why Walt Disney didn't want anyone drinking alcohol in his park.
Paula?
If I could just fly on a broom, I'd be happy.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the Ugly Truth.
Welcome to The Ugly Truth. It is episode 378.
I don't know what that is. But we are Sisters Who Podcast.
Welcome to the truth. Hello, Paula.
Well, hello.
Why, hello. Okay, so like I told you last week, we've got a lot going on. We came back from Disneyland, and now, as the show drops, this has all already happened, but our daughter has graduated. We had the grad party, which you likely attended unless something had happened, because we're talking about this like it's already happened.
Right.
And as the show drops on Sunday, my family and I are on our way to Hawaii.
Exciting.
So that's exciting. We're on vacation, which means that this is the last show until after Father's Day that will drop.
Dang.
So we're taking a week off, essentially. We'll be back on the 19th of June, I believe.
I don't know. You tell me, so.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll just call you and say, hey, you ready to do a show tomorrow? Yep.
I'll be like, yep, I've got no items. I'll be there.
I have nothing to provide, but yes, I will arrive.
No, I'm sure I'll have a thing or two. Maybe not. Probably
I'm sure.
not.
Well, please, by the time you and I talk again, you will hate your children. They will be boring. They will be pigs because they never leave the house and they make messes and they eat you out of house and home.
Yeah, I'll be glad because they will be leaving, so.
Yes, and we'll talk about that on our show in 2 weeks. So
Yes, we will.
anyway, we've been having some really weird weather in California.
Yeah, I
where
know.
It's been super chilly and windy and a little rain. And then in the foothills, we're getting hail and floods. And now, like today, it's going to be like 98. So it's like this really weird. And so we're out, we get home and we're standing outside and we're just talking and he's like doing stuff in the yard or whatever. And we start talking about some current situations that are going on, and I had some strong opinions, and all of a sudden the wind came out of nowhere and blew like this 40-mile-per-hour gust came through.
Yeah.
And these clouds came through and it was like instant. It came out of nowhere.
Were they the weird looking clouds at sunset?
Yes.
I tried to film those, but
you
all
did?
it did, I posted a video on Facebook. I tried to film those because outside it looked really smoky, and we're just like, is there a fire outside or what's going on? Because it was like orange outside.
Yes.
And so we looked outside, and these clouds, they looked like smoke, but they were clouds.
No,
So
it was a tornado touchdown.
that's what it looked like. Victor's like, this looks like Oklahoma. He's all, those look like tornado clouds.
Yes.
So I tried to film them, and then when I was looking through my camera, I'm like, God damn it! I look like an idiot filming clowns because
I saw you.
I'm like,
saw
they're not
that.
resonating like they do in real life.
I know.
So I was mad.
Yes, phone cameras do not do things justice sometimes. But anyway,
it was mad.
yes, and so that happened when we were standing outside. And now Daryl would not admit that he was buzzed, but he was definitely buzzed. And we're standing there, we're talking about something. I was saying some very profound, serious things, and all of a sudden, this weather came in, and legit serious turns to me. He goes, "Are you a witch?" What? He goes, the weather, you just got real serious and you started making some very strong declarations, and suddenly the clouds and the wind and things are blowing, and then a cat started to cry, and then the dog howled, and he's like, I'm freaking out. I'm really freaking out. I'm like, okay, I'm not a witch, but thank you for thinking that I'm this powerful.
We were outside, and
God.
I'm like, maybe it's Armageddon. And then Victor's looked at me. He's like, well, we've done all we can.
It's so true. We did all we could do. We're about as right with God as we're going to get. So
Basically,
here we are.
Basically.
Yeah, it was really funny. And I said, no, I'm not a witch, but man, I wish I was.
Yeah, really. To have those powers.
If I could be like Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock in Strange Magic, oh my God, it'd be great. I'd love it. But
If
no.
I could just fly on a broom, I'd be happy. Although it would have to be lower to the ground because I'm afraid of heights.
Be living your best life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was super funny though. I'm like, but wouldn't it be great if that did exist? That I could actually like, summon clouds and wind? That'd be great. I would love it. I have a few people I could drop a house on.
My low flying broom, and someone's going to be like, what's that in the sky? I'm be like, I'm a witch, you idiot.
That's true. It's true. So funny. Okay, so here's the other thing. There's some things going on that I read, and it's something that actually I'm witnessing. I'm not involved, thank God. But the first one was, I read this article about this woman in the UK who was dying.
Okay.
Now, there have been instances of this. I've read it before. In Oregon, there was a woman who had 3 beautiful Australian shepherds, and she was dying, and she was not going to outlive the dogs. And so she spent the last 2 months of her life trying to find homes for her 3 healthy dogs. And it was hard because first, you want to keep them all together, but they're not children. So, I mean, if you need to, you can separate them. But 2 had to stay together, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it took a village to place these animals in good, loving homes
She
before
didn't have
she
family
died.
just to take the dogs?
No, she did not.
That's awful.
Well, some people just don't have kids, it happens. And she was older. It wasn't like she was 30. She was in her late 60s. And so she actually passed away after she knew all of her dogs had loving homes, and then she died. So this woman in the UK, an older woman, had a 7-year-old Shih Tzu, and it was like her child.
Yeah.
And she was dying, and she decided that instead of rehoming the dog, she was going to have the dog euthanized and buried with her.
What?
And people were outraged over this request.
Are you allowed to just euthanize your dog for no reason?
Yes, of course. And so I was reading this going, okay, I realize that it sounds cruel.
How old
because
was the dog?
7. So the Humane Society in her town, and see, here's the other thing is, how did anybody get word of this? This is someone's personal business.
Unless she posted it on Facebook or something like that.
Maybe. I didn't read the whole article about how it came to be that everyone found out about it. My guess is that the vet, they were going to be tasked with euthanizing the dog and then giving the remains to the funeral home is probably how it became public. So they were like, look, we can find a place for this dog. The dog is healthy. It's only 7. They live to 13 or 14. We'll do it for free. You don't have to worry about him. We'll find him a loving home. She's like, nope, fuck you all. I want the dog buried with me. They tried and tried and tried to convince her. And she's like, no, I want the dog with me. And now there were a couple things going through my brain. One is, what if this woman believes that her dog will be in heaven with her? There's that. And then I thought, the Egyptians literally put slaves to death and buried them with their people so that they would have people on the other side. And they would put their cats and stuff to death so that they would be in heaven with them. And I thought, well, maybe this is what she's thinking. But they never indicated why she wanted this, just that she would. And now I realize everybody's like, oh my God. And I'm like, let her do it.
Right.
Or tell her you're going to do it and don't do it. She's dead. She's not going to know, So to me, it's like, if the woman wants to be buried with her dog, let her do it. I don't really see it as cruel and unusual a punishment for the creature. She's kind of doing everyone a favor. Because, she's taking the dog with her. There's no process of trying to find a place for this animal where there's hundreds of animals in the pound already that need a place.
Well, they said the dog was euthanized.
It was. I know. They did do it.
There is a lot of outrage, but if you start to ask people, well, will you take the dog then?
Suddenly
there's just like, well, I don't have any room, or, I can't do this, I can't do that,
right.
Or I'm allergic.
Well, I'm sure someone will take the dog.
That exactly,
right.
It becomes everybody else's responsibility. But you can definitely voice your opinion because, everybody has an asshole or however that thing goes. But
right.
I don't know. That's just the thing is
it sounds cruel, but is it really?
Everybody lives in this fantasy world, thinking that all pet owners are perfect and decent and treating their pets wonderfully. And then all of a sudden, Sarah McLachlan comes on the television and then you see the freezing dogs in the snow and the skinny ones with maggots all over their body.
Right.
And, obviously they're not being treated well.
I know.
But this woman's an asshole because she wanted to very humanely put her dog down so it could go with her. I don't know. I mean, there's a good argument there. I
can't imagine loving a creature so much that I want it with me in my tomb. But that's just, because first of all, and I love all of my animals so dearly. I do. I mourn their deaths just like anybody else when they do go, but they're the most loved and cared for creatures to the best of my ability that I can do it. But I also know that they don't live forever, and there's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can do about it. So if she cut the dog's life short by 3 or 4 years because she wanted to, she truly believed that the dog will meet her in heaven or something. Mm-hmm. Animals are not humans. And so I don't feel that. Now, if she said, I want my child killed and buried with me, I would have a problem with it.
Right?
Yeah, I would have an issue.
Well, the thing is that older animals, I mean, they have such a hard time being adopted anyway.
They do.
Everyone wants puppies and kittens. It's so funny how people have such a soft spot for animals.
Well, they're unconditional. They love you unconditionally. And they basically respond the way you care for them. And
even just like exotic animals or animals just in the wild. Like, obviously I'd never go near one because it's not safe, but it's because you're not supposed to be in their territory,
Right, yes.
And it's just nice to watch them and be glad that they're just there. And it makes me so sad when I keep hearing about all these extinct animals, and I'm just
I know.
Why are people such assholes to animals?
We're the worst parasites on the planet.
God.
Yeah, we're the worst. But anyway, I just thought it was really funny and interesting how people had such strong opinions about this poor woman who wanted her dog euthanized. And everybody was like, this is an outrage. And it's like, what's an outrage? Children dying from cancer. That's an outrage that I can get behind. Okay?
Yeah, really.
Somebody euthanizing their Shih Tzu is not something that I choose to put a lot of energy behind. But, you go on with your bad self. Apparently, your life is great. Because you can be mad about that.
Yeah, you're being perfect with your whatever.
It was so funny. Okay, so speaking of outrage, I want to use this as a lesson for you as Olivia grows.
Okay.
Because I think this is an error that a lot of moms do, and it's not intentional. They don't know they're doing it. They do it. So there's been this drama that I've been witnessing on the sidelines. I only know about it because my daughter is friends with one of the people that is pseudo involved in it. So this couple, the girl is 16, the boy is a senior. He's going to be turning 18 soon. They've been together for a year, and they broke up.
Okay.
This is the problem. The parents of both of the families were super friendly and involved with each other as the two children were dating, to the point where, like, the daughter would spend the night at the boy's house, the boy would spend the night at the daughter's house. It was one of those kinds of situations, which I'm not a big fan of, but I know a lot of people do it. And
that would never happen. I can guarantee that.
It's a very casual, people just like, well, they're having sex anyway. What does it matter? That's kind of the mentality. I'm not, my children move out of the house before they're allowed to have overnight guests. So I'm very strict.
Victor would rather slit his throat before he would ever allow a boy to spend the night in Olivia's bed.
Well, that's our take on it. But a lot of parents are pretty casual about that whole thing.
I don't understand. Maybe their parents were cool about it when they were younger. I don't know.
I just think it's all kind of related. And so they broke up. Now, the problem is that the girlfriend was invited to go on summer vacation with her boyfriend and their family. They were going somewhere that it was expensive, so she had to give them like almost $1,000 for airfare and travel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They broke up, and so the boy had to reimburse her all the money out of his own account, which he did gladly. And it was funny when I read that. I'm like, it is amazing what a man will do to get out of a relationship. They'll do anything. And so done and done. Now, the problem was, as most boys tend to do, they don't break up with a girl unless they have a soft place to land.
Oh, exactly.
It just is what it is. I don't know if it's genetic or what, but if a girl creates the breakup, it's because she's miserable and she wants out.
There's something wrong.
Right. If a boy does it,
there's someone else.
There's another girl in the wings. Even if that's not that, even if it's not the reason, it was the last straw. Like, okay, there's a girl that I'm interested in. This was terrible already, but now I have somewhere else to go. So now I can legit break up.
And the fact that I'm pondering wanting to be with someone else, that's just a bad idea. So we should just break up.
Right. So it's over. So understandably, the girl who's much younger is going a little psycho, because that's what girls do if they feel like they're not in control of it. And so she's been texting incessantly and calling and all this stuff. Here's the problem. Mama got involved.
The boy's mom or the girl's mom?
The girl's mom got involved.
Okay. What do you mean? Okay.
She starts harassing the boyfriend's mother and the boy.
To do what?
Because her daughter's so heartbroken that she needs to fix it. And when they get wind that there might be another girl involved, it went next level. She started harassing people.
Like, what was she hoping to accomplish?
I do not know. And here's the problem. I like them. I like all these people, by the way. There's not one bad people in the bunch. It's just that the mom, her daughter's her best friend, that kind of thing. And so it's difficult when you can't. I would never do this. I would never contact anybody if my daughter got broken up with, ever. Like, it's her thing to process. I'll be there for her.
Right. I mean,
I'll talk crap about anybody she wants, show me all the shitty text messages, whatever, but I'm never going beyond that, right?
I mean, you'll sit there and, relate all your breakups and how you got through them.
Right.
And, there's no point in getting involved because it's done.
The mom reached out to the boy's mom because they were friends.
Okay.
And sent this really long text message about how she knows there's another girl involved, and it's, I thought he was more of a gentleman than this and all this stuff. Now, if some woman texted me about what she thought about my son, hell would come for her. Because I'm sorry, it is a breakup and I know it's painful. But you're not going to be talking crap about what you think about my son suddenly, who was good enough for your child for over a year, and now in one fell swoop is all, literally the devil. I mean, that's unacceptable.
Well, not only that, I would just be like, what are you hoping to accomplish with this text?
Right.
What do you want me to force him to get back together with your daughter?
Well, because she made it very clear that I obviously don't want my daughter associating with anyone of the likes of your son. She was just she was feeling the pain that her daughter was feeling. And so she was motivated to act upon it. Right.
And I would have replied, that's not going to be a problem because he broke up with her. He doesn't want to be with her anymore.
Right.
Maybe you failed to understand the conversation they had.
The fallout was strong, though. I mean, if you think about, this is one of the things, like, all of my kids are like, oh, the parents want to meet you. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not meeting anyone's parents. No, because when you guys break up, I don't want to know them. I don't want to know that they exist. Okay. I'm sure they're good people, but I don't want to be friends with anyone's mother. I don't want to do that where we have barbecues together. None of that's happening. It's risky at best.
See, and this is what happens when you let your teenagers play house and act like they're engaged or a real grown-up couple.
Well, treating it like an adult relationship is the mistake.
Vacationing together and sleeping at each other's houses and treating each other's parents like in-laws and stuff like that.
So the daughter's mom has been posting on Facebook about karma and about how children aren't being raised right, and I'm just like, oh my God. I haven't said a word because, we all process differently, but I'm struggling to figure out why she is suffering so harshly.
What's to process? I
have seen my children, all of them, through really bad breakups. I have been through really bad breakups. It is called a breakup for a reason. It's not called put together happy up. It's called breakup. It's devastating, especially when you're 16. It's horrible. I can still feel the pain of when I got broken up with when I was 16. To this day, I can remember everything about it because that's how painful they can be when it's your first love. So I get it. But as the parent, you're supposed to be the strong one. You're supposed to be like, you're going to be great. Look at me.
You offer them wisdom and all
and
of those
strength
things.
and
you don't
comfort
sit there and like, you know, grovel with them and
or just get into the mud. And so the boy was at school and the girl, they are friends. They've been friends for a really long time, but they were sitting in the car together talking. The new girl was sitting in the car with the boy. And so they were all sitting. The mom saw them sitting in the car and she started screaming at them in the parking lot.
From her car, or did she get out of her car?
No, she did not get out of her car. Because I asked that. I go, did she get out of the vehicle? And she's like, no, she just pulled in front of them and started screaming. And then
what was she saying?
I don't know. And then the girlfriend, the daughter was in the car and she was screaming. And she was trying to get out and talk to the boyfriend. I'm like, oh my God, it sounds like a nightmare. All I can say is this is what I think. There's a generation of parents, and maybe it's been this way since the beginning of time and I just wasn't aware of it because I wasn't a parent until, 20 something years ago, where instead of parenting, they become their ally, like their BFF. And so they're both like, oh my God, we're going to totally get this guy or whatever. Like they forget that they're the parent for a minute because this whole like, oh, my daughter's my best friend. We do everything. We share everything. It's like that is not healthy. Really,
right.
It shouldn't be. You can be a friend with your child, but ultimately you're the parent. No matter how old you are, even if your kid is 50, you're still the parent.
Right.
It's almost like this. They're not teaching them any kind of coping skill. They're just teaching them how to react emotionally. Like there's no anything. Like even the dad was getting involved saying, well, he'll have to deal with me. I'm like, well, what the fuck does that mean? What are you going to go beat up a 17-year-old because your daughter's heart is broken? Like, what are we doing?
That doesn't
it's
make
like
any sense.
this emotional reaction instead of just saying, hey, I'm so sorry. Yes, he was a great kid. It was a good run. I'm sorry. You're only 16. I know that sounds like the end of the world. I mean, but no, it's just like, how dare he? It's like this whole non-coping situation. And this is not the first time I've heard of this happening. Like moms pull this shit all the time where they just like, my baby's hurt, so we're going to take care of business. I'm like, what are you going to do? Vigilante in a van somewhere and Molotov cocktail someone's house? Like, what are you going to do, really?
Okay, so here's the other thing is like, now that that's happened, being a real mom and not like a crazy person,
right?
I would have no problem going to the administration, letting them know exactly what happened in the parking lot and make sure that this individual and their child need to keep their distance from my son because they are being completely hostile and, bullying him. And, use the key words if I have to.
Oh, God, I know.
And then say that, this situation's getting completely out of control. And, we are fearing for our personal safety. And we've made every attempt to, get these people out of our lives. And if they can't provide a safe environment, then we will have to involve the police.
But apparently something happened because she actually called and apologized for her behavior.
Good. Hopefully they did go to the school.
I think they did. Something happened. Or maybe she just went, I'm a grown-ass woman. What the fuck am I doing yelling at kids?
No, that didn't happen.
Well, you never know. She was so cool. I told Malia, I said, I am so disappointed because I really liked her a lot. Like, I really liked her. And I thought I made a new friend. And I don't like seeing this side of someone. Because we all have that ability. We all have the capability of being a little nuts. It's almost like I was dating a really great guy and I saw like his anger or something at something and I went, shit. You were so great a week ago. Now look at you. Now I don't want to be around you anymore because there's something wrong. I hate it. But it is easy to get caught up when you start declaring that your kid is your best friend. It's very dangerous. Then you start.
Well, no one wants to see their child hurt, obviously, but not. You can't. You just have to be objective, I guess.
Well, you have to be a parent, and you have to. This is the thing that comes up when you have little ones and you're teaching them how to eat and get dressed and wipe their butt. That's super easy. What's hard is teaching them how to be a functioning adult that doesn't lose their shit and end up on CNN. It's like, okay, when someone doesn't want to be with you anymore, there's really only one way to deal with it. You don't want to be with them either. You lick your wounds, you weep, you mourn, you eat a lot of shitty food or you get drunk or whatever you need to do. You process and you learn your lesson and you move forward. That's what adults do. The mistake that a lot of people make, I think, and it's a parenting choice. I'm with you. I am not a big fan of allowing kids to act like they're married. I don't think that's cool. I mean, like Daryl even said, he goes, well, this is what happens when you let kids act like adults. Right. You know, and like you said, pseudo in-laws and all that crap. It's like, I got invited to go on vacations with boyfriends. I'm like, no, I don't want to know your sister. You know, it's like weird to me. But now it's like, that's the thing. It's the new thing. And I'm like, nah, no, it isn't. Not for me. Not for me. And I think it's fair.
I don't think kids at their age, still with all their hormones and everything like that, they just can't handle that, you know? And especially with a breakup. I mean, obviously, you know, they're not equipped to deal with that kind of stuff.
The only boy that my parents ever met was my first serious boyfriend that I thought I was going to marry, which is Tyler's dad, my son's dad. That was the first boy. In fact, no one even met Producer Dub until we were way serious.
I met Producer Dub when you had me meet him, and we went to some place. I forgot what it was. I want to say it was like Gilbert's or Willie's or...
Willie's?
Or Gillies. No, it wasn't Gillies. Never mind.
No. Was it a restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
He was still very thin.
Oh, Paula, he looked like Skeletor. He looked like a tiny Skeletor. When I think about that, I'm like, Skeletor is a big creature, but you were like a teeny tiny action figure Skeletor. Like, you were so thin and tiny. He looks so good now. I hate him sometimes because I'm like, you know what? I really hate that you're aging well. I mean, you're looking really good for your age, and I'm looking like a melted old lady. It's starting to make me mad. Men age well. They just do.
Well, some do. Not all of them.
Well, that's true.
Well, most of them, though. I don't know. Some of them look like they've lived some life, you know?
Oh, speaking of aging well, okay, so the reboot of Beverly Hills 90210 is coming.
Are you going to watch that?
Hell yes, I'm going to watch it. Are you kidding?
I'm not going to watch it. No.
Oh my God. I was such a 90210 fan.
I was too until I started watching some reruns, and I'm like, God, this show was stupid.
Team Brenda. # Team Brenda. I love her. Anyway, the reason I'm saying that is that there was a picture of Jenny Garth, the woman that plays the smart girl. What was that chick's name?
Gabrielle
something. But I don't know what her name was on the show. Then Tori Spelling. And they were all in bathing suits. So Jenny Garth was in a bikini. Gabrielle Carteris was in a black one piece. And Tori Spelling was in a fab 30s two piece. So she had the high hip, the high waisted with the big like halter top. So like an inch of skin was showing in between the two pieces. So it was
she's had 20 children.
I know, right? And so it was a picture of the three of them standing there, and they had no makeup on. So this was obviously some kind of fun day for them, right? Mm-hmm. So people are making fun of Tori Spelling, of course, because she has a mom bod.
Oh, she did gain weight. That's right.
She looks like
I saw her on The Masked Singer.
Yes, she has a mom bod. No, she's still not fat or anything. She just looks like a mother. She looks like someone who's had 20 children.
Right.
And then obviously Gabrielle. Okay, so here's the thing. So Gabrielle Carteris is 58 years old.
Oh my God, are you freaking kidding me?
No.
That's right. She was literally like 30 when they were filming that.
Jenny Garth and Tori Spelling are my age. They're 47 and 48. I was shocked. I was like, it has really been... That's the kind of shit that makes you go, holy crap, I'm old. I can't believe that I'm that old, and that I'm looking at these old ladies, and these were the people that I wanted to dress like when I was a kid. Like, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
That is crazy.
And what's funny is I was reading this article about how they were trolling Tori Spelling for looking, like a normal person. And I'm not into giving her shit. I mean, she did way too much to her face and stuff, but whatever, But I was looking at that going, it's so funny how, like our grandparents, when they're old and they're watching TV, they're always watching those old Westerns, like the Virginian and, those super old movies and stuff like that. And that's like, oh, Grandpa's just watching his movies. That's what they're doing. And I'm like, when I'm old, I'm going to be watching like The Breakfast Club 16 Candles, Weird Science, The Money Pit.
I know, I totally will.
And, Daryl, when he's an old man watching his movies, it's going to be like Die Hard and Tron and,
Back to the
Future. And it's like, that's going to be what our old people generation will be watching in the retirement homes. It's going to crack me up.
Jenny Garth has had kids. Why does she look amazing?
Because she's a horse girl. She's very active.
I don't like people who are active.
I believe she's like a kind of a country girl. And she just kind of got lucky. She's kind of like, well, no, Tiffany Amber Thiessen was always a spoiled little Southern California gal. But, or was she from the South? I can't remember. But she's always been kind of privileged. But she's so pretty. I love Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
She started acting pretty young, I think.
Very. So. And she did commercials. She did the Barbie commercial. And then she ended up on Saved by the Bell, which is another wonderful show that if they ever rebooted, I would watch. I would think it would be great. What if they're all like teachers now?
Maybe. I don't know.
That would be hilarious. But yes, I'm watching it.
Tiffany Amber, well, it's just Tiffany Thiessen now.
Of course.
She actually had a cooking show for a while.
I watched it. I watched it. I loved it.
Holy crap. Jenny Garth has been married 3 times, and her third marriage, they're currently separated.
Wow. Well, she was married to Peter Facinelli for a while. Those are who her kids are from. Is from her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They were.
He cheated on her.
Yeah. He kind of dumped her.
I think he cheated on a lot of people. I don't think he's not the settling type.
Well, if he's Facinelli, is that Italian?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not terribly shocked by that.
And he's very attractive. Although she's gorgeous, but you know what? It's kind of one of those things.
That doesn't matter.
It doesn't. All right. Well, it's time to do our ugly and awkward moments of the week. Yay!
Okay. Shoot. I have one. I just have temporarily forgot it. Hold on.
Did it happen at Walmart?
No, it didn't. What? Shut up. No, it didn't happen at Walmart. It was... I think it had to do with Olivia somehow. What was it?
All right. Well, I will do my ugly and awkward moment. And if you remember, then you can do yours. Okay. So Disneyland, the new Star Wars land, has a cantina. And it's really super hard to get in. But we were able to get in. And they serve alcohol there.
Oh, cool.
Now, I was under the impression that these drinks would be super sugary and they'd be like barely alcoholic. You know, when you go to those really stupid dance clubs and you order a blended pina colada and it's got like a half a shot of rum in it and the rest is just sugar. That's what I was expecting.
Do they serve top shelf there or no?
Yes, actually they do. Yes. The vodka's Tito's and it's, Bacardi. And I mean, it's decent.
It's semi top shelf. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not crap. So it's probably the same stuff they serve in the hotels, which is all very good. Mm-hmm. Hendrick's gin and stuff. So anyway, so we got in and we sat down and it's a 2-drink minimum or maximum, I should say.
Oh, okay.
So we ordered. Now the drinks, I have some video on my personal Instagram of what the beverages look like. Because you're supposed to be in space, they're all like weird looking but they taste just like regular cocktails.
Right.
Anyway, so we ordered 2 of them. We got our maximum because we wanted to.
Right.
And decided after we left, we were going to ride the Millennium Falcon ride.
Oh, okay.
And so we had been on it a couple of times already, but our time was winding down and they were closing the park for a special event. So there was like nobody there. And so we decided to go on. So we get on the ride. Alcohol kicked in. Right at the end of the ride. So we get off the ride. Paula, I kept running into walls. So we're walking and everything is like realistic. So first you're on the Millennium Falcon. And so then when you're exiting, all the walls are like stone. Mm-hmm. And so we're walking. And every time I turn to talk to Daryl, I run into another wall.
Oh my God. Is it narrow?
No, it isn't. And so I slam into a wall and you know that video from Aha, Take On Me, where he's slamming into the walls trying to get to reality?
On purpose?
Yes, that's what it was like. And he goes, finally Daryl goes, hey, maybe you need to stop running into walls. And I said, I can't help it. don't know why. I'm so dizzy. And he's like, okay, you've had way too much rum. I'm like, I've had too much rum. This is why Walt Disney didn't want anyone drinking alcohol in his park, because of this. This is exactly why. I am the reason. This is why. You cannot get on rides and then walk normal. It's not possible. So I actually have like a little bruise on my arm, on my upper arm, where I scraped my arm against the wall twice. And so I'm like, okay, noted. Jamie can't have rum at Star Wars Land ever again. It was awful. I felt like a little kid who had spun around too many times on the lawn.
God, sounds like you almost could have thrown up.
I was not vomitous. I was just really clumsy, and I didn't feel dizzy, but I kept running into things. I'm like, why am I running into walls? I'm like, oh yeah, the motion of the ride, and then walking downstairs and everything, and then just turning to talk. I kept running into walls because I had no like sense of order in my brain. And I went, man, I've never been on a ride with alcohol. This is why you don't do that. I'm the example of why you don't do that. It was hilarious, though. He's like, why do you keep running into walls?
Were other people watching you?
Yes, children. 2 children.
Oh, no. They're probably like, what's wrong with her?
No, they weren't. We were all laughing and being really loud because we had just kicked the game's ass and we had just done really well. And so it was like, woohoo! We were like really celebrating. And I think, you know, it was after the second time I hit the wall that I went, why am I running into the walls? It was really odd.
That is hilarious.
It was hilarious. So that's my awkward moment of the week at Disneyland, the Millennium Falcon, just running into walls like a fool. I'm so clumsy. It's insane. It is so insane how clumsy I am.
Happens to the best of us.
It does. Okay, so you cannot remember your awkward moments?
Okay, hold on. I'm going through my Facebook because I want to say that... No, I don't think I typed it in because I think I was saving it, which is stupid because I can't ever remember anything. I'm so pissed. I want to say Olivia asked me like a grown-up question, and like she had a misunderstanding about how things worked or something like that.
Sexually?
Well, I mean, not like sex per se, but like how bodies work or something like that.
Sure.
Well, she asked me about, you saw what I posted about the Chaka. Did you see that?
Yes, and I can't believe you didn't know what that was.
How was I supposed to know?
It's a Mexican thing. People throw shoes at their kids.
Well, no one ever, well, I mean, Dad threw things at us, but I mean, we didn't have thongs. I don't know. I don't think he had a thong.
Well, our mom isn't Mexican, so it never really applied to us.
Mom didn't throw shoes.
She didn't pick up that skill, but she picked up all the other ones. Oh, well. Well, really quick before we go, if you are getting married and you want to create a wedding registry on Amazon, click through the Ugly Truth link before you do it. We actually get credit for that, and you will also get your guests who purchase wedding gifts for you will get free shipping on anything over $25. So if you are, don't forget, you can still click through our link and create your wedding registry, and we will get a little credit.
Yeah.
If you do that. So that's really cool. So do that while we are on our break, which will be great.
I just remembered it.
Tell me.
Okay. So a week ago Friday, the kids, it was their last day of school. And so Brian being in middle school, they usually have like the 8th grade graduation the same day. That's the last day of school. So they had the 7th graders start late. They had them start at 9:00.
Oh, is that because they did the promotional?
They did the 8th grade graduation earlier. Well, they still were not even close to being finished, and all the parking lot was like jam-packed with cars. So so they were just finishing up like right around 9:00. And so you had cars leaving, but then you had like all the 7th grade parents trying to drop their kids off. And so it was just an absolute nightmare. I was stuck in traffic, and I was on the main street, and there was people just out like flooding everywhere, on the sidewalks and stuff. Right. And it was a nice morning. And so I had, usually I have the windows down when it's a nice morning and stuff, but I wasn't paying attention. So anyways, on the main street, just in the middle of the road, out of nowhere, this whole family just decides to cross the street, like right in front of me.
What? Okay.
And it's like Greenback Lane, basically.
Oh my God.
But there were no cars coming because everyone was stopped. And so, but I mean, at any moment I could have just, accelerated and gone if something had opened up. And so I have road rage, but it's usually safe because my windows are shut and no one's listening. So I yelled, I'm like, this is a main road, you idiots. I'm like, you could have been, I said, this is not a crosswalk, you dipshits.
Great.
And so I screamed as loud as I could.
Awesome.
And so Ryan's like, Mom, he's like, they can hear you. I'm like, how could they hear me? He's like, the windows are down. And so I was just like, oh, I forgot. Because normally I'll just yell, but no one can hear me. And so
that's so funny.
He was so embarrassed. I'm like, they have an 8th grader that graduated. You'll never see him again.
Ever again. It's over.
So anyways, that was mine. But
that's very funny.
Then so I asked him, I'm like, well, how do you know they heard me? He says, because when you started screaming, they all looked at you. So, all right. Well, then I think that's a wrap. Do you want to talk about vacation time?
Well, we already did.
Oh,
but,
we did. Okay.
Yeah, we won't. We will be back the week of the 19th with a new show. We'll talk about our little summer vacations because I'm taking the family and we're going to the lovely island of Hawaii. And you will be preparing for your children's journey, which we will talk about when we get back.
Yes.
And whatever plans you have going on, I am sure there will be a ton of ragers with all the suburban moms at your house with all their Pinot Grigio.
And I'm so social with everyone.
Yes. And so we'll talk about all of those things. And then, but we will have some new content that will come out during our break. We have a little carnival that's coming out. And then producer Dub's little review of Starcast. What the hell is Starcast?
I don't know.
Star Wars Land will come out as well. So there will be new content. It just won't be the full show, but this is fine. Just think about all the awkward moments we're going to have when we return. All of the people that outraged us. It's going to be so fun. So
yes, it's going to be a good time. So
it will.
And then we'll be back before you know it. Thank you for joining us. Have a good couple of weeks, and we'll see you when we come back. Bye. Bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.